Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Born from Sin. I hope that you're doing well this week. I do apologize that I did not have a show last week, but we'll talk a little bit more about that closer to the end of the show. This week's episode is called Grieving. And I wanted to talk about how grieving can hit you literally out of nowhere. As many of you know, very recently, my husband has been given a new opportunity. He started working with a company called Top Coat Epoxy. They're based out of Nova Scotia, and it's going to be taking him out of town a little bit more. Yesterday was his first day out of town, and I had the whole house to myself, and I planned on, it was a beautiful day. I planned on doing some gardening and cleaning up my yard a little bit more. And out of nowhere, I just kind of sat down and started thinking about our current situation and how the job that my husband now has secured for me to be able to stay home and we can still be financially stable. And I just kind of sat back and I was just like, "Whew, what a big relief off of our shoulders." We struggled a lot when we first moved out here trying to make ends meet. And we're now at the point of our lives that a lot of the past has been healed. And it's like a fresh new start for us. So we are able to move forward with our lives in a very positive way. And it kind of struck me out of nowhere. And I sat there and I went, wow, what a big relief. And then all of a sudden, for no reason whatsoever, no logical explanation, I started thinking about my dad. I haven't done that in a very long time. I started thinking about my husband. You know the old saying that women will tend to marry someone like their father and men will tend to marry someone like their mother. My dad was always a very hard worker. My dad would go above and beyond at work. He never said no to a new challenge. He was a very hard worker. He was also narcissistic. He was also a narcissistic alcoholic who beat my mom and I, raped me, and I thought for years, like, I don't want my children to have the father that I had. I don't want to live a life with a narcissistic alcoholic. I've already done that. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want a man like my father. Turns out that I kind of did marry a man somewhat like my father. And it hit me really, really hard. And I apologize because I can already feel the emotions coming on. When my dad was a good man, I used to love that he would take me fishing, or he didn't treat me like his daughter per se. He treated me equally. He would play catch. He would take me outside and run in the field. He would show me how to pick potato bugs. We did a lot of cool things together. I got to learn how to fix trucks with him. Like, I have a lot of good memories of my dad, although most of them are sadly about abuse. The little things that I was able to hang on to that I really enjoyed when my dad was around, I actually have that now full time in my husband. And like my dad, My husband is a very hard worker. He's very devoted. He'll not say no to a challenge. He will give it his all, and I cried when I realized that I kinda did marry someone like my father, but without the abuse. I don't know, it was kinda like a little reality check for me. And then, of course, I started thinking about my mom. As many of you know, I lost my mom in June of last year, and I haven't really grieved over her passing. I've gone through some of the emotions, the crying, and, I felt bad because she wasn't here anymore, so it's not that I didn't necessarily grieve, but the reality of it didn't really hit me until yesterday. And I sat there crying for half the morning, just a flood of emotions. And then I talked out loud. I talked to my mom, and I apologized to her for not being a better daughter, especially near the end of her life. I had to distance myself a little bit from my mom so that I could heal through being re-traumatized all over again when I found out that my mom and dad were brother and sister. And I kind of the last year of her life, I didn't call there as much because she was a lot to deal with because of her schizophrenia, and I just needed the mental break, and I couldn't. It's not that I didn't love her because I love her to pieces, and I just sat there and asked her for forgiveness, and then I let her know that I was going to be okay. I let her know that I missed her and that I wish that she could be here to see this new adventure that we're going to be going on. I told her that I wasn't bitter about the stuff that I went through because it turned me into the person that I am today. And although I'm still struggling here and there, I have my good days, I have my bad days. There's so many more good days ahead that I'm looking forward to. I have always wanted to work for myself. I've, especially after moving out here to New Brunswick, I really wanted to just be my own boss. I was tired of, working for this person, working for that person, it not working out. But the thing that's always been my biggest blocker in me continuing forward in whether it was my cookbook or trying to win a cooking competition, whatever it was, there was always something that would happen with my mom. She would have a nervous breakdown. She would try to commit suicide. It was one thing after another after another. So her schizophrenic life literally engulfed my entire life. I had to let go of my children for their own safety. And all of that now is done. When I first heard that my mom had passed away, it hurt. I cried. I felt bad. At the same time, I felt relief. Relief knowing that she wasn't suffering anymore with any of her medical conditions, but mostly knowing that the voices in her head had finally stopped. I used to sit there for years and wonder what voices were saying to her, what how they were brought on, were they triggered because of stress, where, that the voices not talk to her as loudly if life was okay? Did the voices get stronger when life was hard and punish her even more? I always wanted to be inside her head just for one day, just so that I could understand what it was like being her and being schizophrenic and understanding why she was the way she was. I know my mom struggled hard. I watched it. I can't tell you how many times I watched them load her up in the back of an ambulance and she flatlined on the way to the hospital while I watched paramedics work on her. And now, there's no more of that. Every schizophrenic episode, every breakdown, every suicidal tendency is all laid to rest now. And I have finally fully healed from my mother's schizophrenia. And that was a big breakthrough for me. And I bawled my face off yesterday, man. I broke down hard. And then I just sat there and wiped away my tears, and I wrote my mom a letter, which I'm going to share with you in a little bit. And then I didn't want to stay inside. I want to be outside. I need some sunshine. I need some positivity. I just needed to change my my mind. I needed to get out of that grieving spot before I just kind of stayed there for too long. And I was like, no, my mom would not want this. My mom would be proud of what's going on in my life right now. My mom would be proud that I am able to get myself through and get myself out of these little depressions that I go through. My mom would be proud at the fact that because of her schizophrenia and watching the things that she went through, that I was able to learn how to be okay with being sad or, grieving or just having a bad day, but not staying there anymore. That's a very, very difficult thing for anybody to do. And I'm very thankful that because of all the stuff that I went through, it built me into who I am today so that I can accomplish these little breakthroughs so that I don't stay in these depressed spots because they're terrible and it's very, very hard once you start going downhill into this depression. It's very hard to get out of. Your mind just gets cluttered with more negativity, like, "Oh, I told you you were a failure," or "I told you you'd never be able to do it, you'd never be able to accomplish it." And now I'm just like, no, no, I'm not gonna allow my mind to treat me like that. My entire life was surrounded by a whole lot of negativity, and I absolutely refuse to allow the rest of my life that I have here on Earth to continue being negative. I've been through enough negativity. Thank you very much. So I got up off the couch and brushed myself off and wiped away my tears, and I went outside and I started organizing to get some of my garden planted. Still a little early, but I do have raised garden beds, so because they're not in ground, everything is not frozen. So yeah, I started planting yesterday, and it really brought me a lot of joy. Just being outside, feeling the sunshine, and just moving at my own pace, just doing my own thing, not being stressed anymore about finances because I had quit my job because I was working in a very toxic environment that I couldn't take it anymore. Um, I just lost my mom, I had lost my cousin, and I was just in a very bad mindset altogether, and just, backyard neighbor, everything, the office, like, it was just so stressful, and I just when I quit my job, I almost regretted quitting my job because I really put us in a little bit of a financial bind because of it, and I feel bad. But man, I feel so much better today. Like, and again, now that I don't have, and I'm not trying to sound selfish or mean or anything, but now that mom's gone, and I no longer have that huge responsibility of no matter what happens with mom, I have to take care of it. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the night while I'm working. I don't have that stress anymore. I'm able to move on and do what I want to do my dreams. And my dream, I, I don't want to be, rich and famous or anything. I don't want to like Carrie Underwood. I don't need that. I just want to be able to come up here, talk to you guys, do my podcast. Sure, it'd be great to earn some money off of it. I'm not going to lie. Any little bit of extra will help, but I don't have to. I need to have a job. I don't have that pressure hanging over my shoulders because of my husband being in the position that he's in now. Um, Financially, I can start setting up my dreams to pursue whatever I want. I am planning on continuing with Darn Good Stuff, which is my fermented honey that I sell at the Christmas market and only at the Christmas market once a year. So for 4 weekends, um, that'll be my bigger chunk of revenue. And then my podcasting, my content creating on Facebook, which thankfully is back now, um, is going to start picking up and I'm going to start earning more money, right? And I don't need to be famous. I don't need to, I just want to be able to live. I want to be able to help out with the income because I don't think that my husband should be completely responsible for paying all the bills. But my mindset needs to also understand that because I'm only doing one market a year at the moment, that most of my money is going to be earned in one shot. So I don't have a regular paycheck coming in every 2 weeks like I used to, but I still will be bringing in, anywhere between ten to $20,000 a year on my business. Oh, it's not too shabby. And I look forward to being able to finally accomplish one of my dreams without there being any interruptions or anything blocking me from achieving it, unless it's me. And I never, never let myself get in the way of my dreams. So, as I mentioned yesterday, while I was grieving, I ended up writing a letter to my mom, and I'm going to share that with you today. A letter to Mom. I grieved for you today. After almost a year of waiting for the breakdown, it finally came. I lost you so many times throughout my life that when the real thing happened, I felt relief. Relief that you were at peace, no longer struggling with your health, and most of all the voices in your head had finally gone quiet. Living with your schizophrenia was a lifelong battle for you, but it was also a disease that shaped my entire life. I had to make decisions no one should ever have to make, including giving up my children to keep them safe. That reality never left me. For years, it was just you and me. Not everyone will understand what life was like, what it took, or what it cost. But today, after more than 40 years, I can finally say something I never thought I would. I'm healed from your schizophrenia. I've been holding on to your ashes, not because I want to break a promise to your grandchildren, but because they were the last piece of you that I have left. I bought the keepsake urns last year, one for each of them and one for me. Each were chosen with love, but I wasn't ready to let you go until now. Life has changed so much since you left. I'm working for myself and on myself. I'm just starting out, but I'm no longer afraid to fail. Not because I doubted myself before, but because my life was devoted to holding everything together. Your illness became my full-time reality, and my dreams, they had to wait. If any of that sounds like bitterness, please forgive me, because the truth is, I'm grateful. Everything I went through shaped me into who I am today. Your strength lives in me. Your fight lives in me. And now I get to live. 17 years with my husband through the hardest seasons. And now we're stepping into something new together. Something hopeful, something powerful, something peaceful. I wish you could be here to see it. But I know we are finally at peace knowing that I will never again have to survive the kind of life that I once did. That part of my story is over. Today I cried for you. Really cried. I let go of everything I never got to say. I spoke to you out loud. I asked for forgiveness for the moments that I fell short as a daughter, as a person, because I know I wasn't perfect. None of us are. But I loved you. I always loved you. And my distance here and there in your final years was never meant to hurt you. It came from a place of survival, not a lack of love. In the next few days, I'm going to send your ashes to your grandchildren. I'm going to place some of your ashes in the purple heart-shaped urn that I got for you so that I could carry you with me as I move forward. Because no matter how old we get, we still all need our mom. The rest of your ashes, I will scatter in places that brought us peace, places that felt like home for us, so that in some way we can all finally be where we belong together. Love your adult child. And that is today's episode. Starting from here on out, I am only going to be doing 2 episodes a month, so like every second week, give or take. Um, again, because there's a lot going on in our lives, and I really want to be able to provide you guys with the best content possible. And doing it once a week is a little much. I'm struggling with my content, and I don't want to do that. I want to hang on to my viewers, and I want to be able to talk with you guys and share not only my story, but just everyday life, because we all need that one person that we can relate to. And I really hope that my viewers continue watching because I'm relating. I relate to them in some way, shape, or form. And doing it once a week, I feel like I'm really falling short on what I'm trying to provide you guys. So, starting from here on out, we will be, I'll be doing my podcast every 2 weeks. So, I hope that you have enjoyed today's episode. If there is anything that you would like me to cover, like topic wise, like mental health or something that you're curious about that you would like to know, reach out to me. Let me know in the comments, and we will go from there. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care.